Okay, we're back. There should be volume now. I had a little camera glitch, but no worries. I was able to arm wrestle it back into position, and we're back on YouTube Live. Yeah, so far so good in gold. We basically sold it near the highs, and profit target 2 was 13.11 and a half. We got in at 13.19.20 ish. It's trading 13.11.40 now. We have well, I can't really talk about the other trades yet till we get out, but I'll tell you where they are once we move away. So what's going on, kids? We have a lot of good news out. I'm assuming decent earnings coming out this week too. Just got to bull past that 200 ball moving average. You called for Black Monday. Today's Wednesday, isn't it? Well, you're 2 days late, buddy. New low gold. Come on, baby. Let's go. Move it down. Let's see. Let's put an alert here. Make it 06 just so I know we're getting there. As far as I'm concerned, Black Monday happened in 1987 because I was there and it cost me a small bundle. No, it does not have to test it at all. Just if it fails, it fails. Doesn't have to actually hit it to fail. Failure is not getting above it in any way, shape, or form. So, question is it possible NASDAQ does not reach the 200 MA and reverses, or does it have to test? Sure, certainly doesn't have to test, that's for sure. The thing we know about markets is this: they don't have to do anything. We just have to interpret what they did and hope we make sense going forward. So I have been getting us in gold every day, and we've been getting zero out of the trade. Goes in our favor for $2, goes against us for $2 every day. And I kept writing, don't worry, if we're in gold long enough, we stay on the hunt, we'll be here the day it starts to crack. We stayed on the hunt, we stayed in gold today. So far, so good. All we need is for the indices to rally up a little. I mean, we're profitable now, but not enough to really write home to mom about. So they rally up a little, we'll jump out of there. The shame of the indices trading today is we got long early this morning, and it rallied to 70.38 in the NASDAQ right up here. Our exit was 70.44. We just missed getting out. Now we got to fight for our points. And we were looking to get out of S&P at 27.38 and a half. The high is 27.36 and a half. Just missed getting out there, so now we got to fight for those points. Luckily, gold made it easy for us. But patience generally prevails when you're trading, as long as the market's not roaring in a different direction, which it's not doing now. Patience prevails. New low gold. Let's go gold. Come on, 05 and a half. I actually have 12.97, but there was no need to mention that in the flash updates. Just that you see, 12.97 in the corner there, PO number 3. We could actually get that low. That's PO number 4, isn't it? Yeah, it's PO number 4. I mislabeled that. We already hit PO number 2. That's got to be number 4. That would be PO number 4, and 05 is 3. and 1.5 is 2. Sorry, I mislabeled those, but they're still the same. So it's actually profit objective number 4, not 3. 3 is 05.5, where we think we're getting to now, and 2 we hit at 11.5. Selling the gold was right on the money, though. We wanted in between 18.5 and 19.5, but it opened at 19.20. And we got in right at the high in gold. That was good. The other trades, again, I won't be able to show you anything about them until we move away from the areas we're in. Certainly after the room fills up a little bit, we'll go look at some charts. I'm thinking I probably have to send out a link to make that happen, huh? Daniel, what link did you post before? Do you have that same link you could drop in the room for me? I want to put it on some social networking and see if I can get a crowd here. Excuse me? Okay, that'll work. As long as you're not logged in as me. That's all I'm... Then you're fine. Your link is just like anyone else's. It doesn't know you're in my office. So where'd you put that link? So obviously there's no volume here because I'm not hearing this chat room. So let me turn up the volume on the TV. Would you send something? I just want to hear it. Nothing. Try that again. All right, thank you. Now at least I hear my chat room. I did, and let me... Well, I don't want to click it. I don't know what'll happen. I got too many of those running right now. Okay, let me know what happens first, and I'll put it in the... I'll start sending it around. What happened? Do you see the chat room? You do? Beauty. All right, let me share that link. Why is that happening? Stop! Thank you. Oh my God, you gotta stop doing that. sent it out. Let's see if that helps. All right. So sorry about that. I was just taking care of a little bit of homework here. So we're going. I decided to, maybe let's see what time is it. 2:30. In a little while, I think we'll go. We'll do a chart segment. We'll look at the FANG stocks. We'll look at some other stocks that I find interesting. And of course, we'll take a look at the situation of the S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, Dow Traney, and that whole gamut. Just waiting for the room to fill up a little bit on YouTube. You're short all indices, huh? Question at 1936. Where's the time? I don't see time, so you'll just repeat your question. And I'll find out why I don't see time. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere I can make that work better, but not right now. It'll probably knock me out of the chat room. So if you repeat your question, I'll be more than happy to answer it. What did I say? Gold can hit 1297. I have 13055, then 1297. The Fed say they're stopping market. I think what you mean is the Fed said they're no longer backing the market. They stopped that 2.5, 3 years ago. So the answer there is the Fed used to back the markets. They were buying everything in sight, securities, stocks, bonds. They bought everything to the tune of $4.5 trillion worth of backing the market. Please don't let that happen. Now they say that they'll just not be as aggressive with raising rates. They never said anything about not backing the markets any longer. That was a long time ago. I mean, now, you must understand, we do hundreds of billions of dollars daily in bond sales and purchases, but that's got nothing to do with the QE unloading. That's on top of it all. So, Seth, you think nobody wants the U.S.'s garbage bonds, huh? You sure are one warped character, brother. Name another country that you would go out and buy bonds from right now on the planet. I mean, come on, Seth. Don't use paranoia on us. Try to write normal stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Someday we'll be Venezuela. You need to stop before I get angry with you. How about we talk about what's happening now, not what's in your mind at the end of the world? I don't care about that. Let's talk about what's going on in the market, sir. That's the only reality, not what you think is going to happen, and the U.S. isn't going to be here anymore. Let's not go there, okay? Thank you. Much better. Looking for new lows, that would kind of make sense, even though I didn't really want to see that today. Not at least till we got out of our damn trades. What's going on in the market? Basically the same. Well, you know what? We're going to go over a chart segment. I'm a little worried. I'm not. I'm worried we're not going to get above the 200 ball moving average, and that's going to be our catalyst for the next dip. That's what I'm worried about. I wanted to be out of my trades as we neared it today. We didn't quite near it. We just went up there, but didn't let me out. So, fist fight until the end. Will Boeing ever stop, huh? That's an interesting one, too. What is Boeing's ticker? Huh? What is it? Bank of America, isn't it? BA. It is BA. Is it BA? Boeing is BA? What's Bank of America? Just B? Oh, BAC, correct. Bank of America. Da-da-da. Well, Seth, that's possible, Seth. I hope not, but it's possible. Joseph, that is absolutely correct. It is absolutely true that slowdowns in China and Europe, they're absolutely going to come get us eventually. When when it comes to get us is when they're slowed down, tapers off, and they start to pick up a little, and then whoosh, money flies out of our country over to theirs, and we'll get the pullback. Never sell a dull market is that adage. You've had a hell of a day trading so far. You know, there were three chances today to be in and out for very nice profits if you were, depending upon what side you were trading, because it went either way. How low is oil looking? I think you're going to see 57.47 and just hang around for a while in oil. We'll look at the charts, but so it still has that zone to get above, the caution zone. If it can get above, you see 57. If it can't get above, you see 47. I think that's where we're going to hang around. We've turned oil into a more stable environment. We are now the biggest producers and we are a huge exporter of oil. That's going to absolutely stabilize this market. You must realize oil's life, all of its history has been made up of insane tactics going on by OPEC and the Middle East. Countries turning up spigots, down spigots, having wars, losing presidents. You know what I'm saying? What we've priced into crude our entire lives. You need to slowly start pulling some of that out of the pricing of crude. Because you can guarantee the U.S. is going to get it to you. You can guarantee we're going to get it out of the ground. You can guarantee we will not be fighting a war against our own civilization. We won't be having a civil war anytime soon. So I think we will get stabilized oil in the next 10 years. Well, we were forced, listen, they forced our hand. We were perfectly happy with an arrangement that went like this. You sell us oil, don't let the price go too high. We'll invest the proceeds of your profits for you and give that back to your country. Because they weren't allowed to accept, for a long time, they couldn't accept their own interest. So the deal was, we'll take that interest, we'll reinvest it, and we will give it back to your country. And we did that for years. Then they started playing spigot jockey like crazy on us. Turn them up, turn them down, turn them up, turn them down. We lived through the Carter era. Then we lived through crude at 145 back in 2007. And that's the end of that. You can't just keep playing with the U.S. like that. So we said, well, time for us to join the fight. Throw the hat in the ring. We're going to now compete with you people who move the spigots on us too much, try to destroy our economy. And here we are today. Look at what's happened to oil. We are there, you know. We've come up with all fantastic technologies to get oil right out of rocks and use sand and water to pull it right out of the rock. So there's just unlimited supplies. I'm not gonna get into whether or not fracking is good or bad for the economy. I'm talking about us alive today. What we need to stay alive and stay on top of the world. We need fracking, that's for sure. What that turns into pollution-wise in the future, what our grandchildren do about it, they may find the need to put that to an end. Maybe it'll be electricity by then, or who knows what. But for now, is what it is. We need that oil. We got to stop the world from having to worry whether they're going to have energy the next day or not. So, the U.S. has become the world's Walmart for energy. Well, you know what? It's supposed to be strong, not weak. A lot of good news. We're in a bull market. There's really no reason for it to be weak. So, if we close a little bit stronger than we are now, there's nothing wrong with you staying on the buy side of the indices. We haven't shown failure at the 200. We haven't touched it yet. Nor have we had a massive down day showing failure, right? So, it's like gold. I was buying and selling gold each day, whatever Omni said. Omni was flipping back and forth, knowing that eventually it's going to make its move and we'll be in. We're going to do the same thing with the S&P. Well, you know, there is this about the Super Bowl. We don't really know who would have won that game because the true two teams that should have been in the Super Bowl weren't there. One thing, when a team does something wrong or right, the referees did something wrong. They absolutely denied a call that was blatant, would have ended the game, and a different team would have been in the Super Bowl. So we don't know what the real outcome would have been, although it is what it is, right? Whoever won it, won it. I get that. All right, we got 70 people. It's starting to fill up a little bit. 72 in my other room. Let's see how many of you cats we can get going. Switch you back and forth. Either come into this room or go into my other room, wherever you want to do that. Where does China buy its crude? Think of any place that we don't like, and China buys its crude from them. So Venezuela, Russia, Iran, us, but they buy it from anybody who we dislike. They probably buy it from Syria too. And it's on purpose for sure. You know, they do that on purpose. Yeah, student loans are a problem. Not that big of a problem, but it's a problem for sure. Because in reality, it would be colleges that would feel the pain, not really the federal government. I doubt the government would step in and bail out all the colleges. You guys have made plenty of profit. You got those biggest, some of the biggest endowments on the planet. Deal with it, kids. Yeah, but car loans. All right, so those are the two dark spots that we have, and neither of them are a real serious threat. Car loans are not a threat at all. Do you know why? The car is an asset. When you stop paying the loan, they get the car back. It's worth something. It's not a total loss, like in lending for almost any other type of lending. Car lending's not so bad because the lender gets something back to sell and get some of their money back. And the customer's still on the hook for the money. So actually, car credit is not really a problem because there's an asset behind the car. There's an asset behind the credit, which companies get back if they need it. So, that one's not going to send us down. Student loans is certainly a time bomb, but nowhere near as big as like the derivatives market was. So that's not going to send us down either. Slow down in the rest of the world, that has to come our way eventually. That has to come our way. Again, Seth, it doesn't matter. It's a recoverable asset. It doesn't vanish into thin air. A car is recoverable. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. My daughter goes to a school where no matter what you do, they stretch it out for 4.5 years to 5 years. You almost can't get a degree in 4 years. There's no school on Fridays, and there's only a certain amount of classes they will let you take. They absolutely make you end up having to come back for your 4.5 to fifth year for your 4-year degree. No summer classes. Yeah, she takes summer classes as well. Every summer she's taken 2 or 3 summer classes just to make sure that it doesn't take 5 full years and it only takes 4.5. So right now she's taking 2 classes, and when they're done, she's done. But that's how it was left off. 6 more months of classes after 4 years. And everyone that I interviewed while I was up there, I asked them how long you've been here, and every one of them had the same answer: 5 years or 4.5 years, unless the ones wanted to stay longer. So how about that for milking the parents, huh? I'm talking rent for kid has to have a place to live, so you got to pay the rent for the kids. You got to pay food for them. You got to give them pocket money and tuition. It's a ripoff. It's a total ripoff. Yeah, he didn't go to my daughter's college. Not all colleges do that. Reno does. Ask any kid that's gone to Reno how long it took them to get out. Yeah, I know, Dan. I know. I know. Too late now. I bought places here instead. Stuff that were easier to work with. Less flights, less nonsense, you know. Yeah, I would imagine it'll chop back up to 27, 32, 33. We'll have to take what we can take there. You do realize S&P's never even gone past the buy zone, right? It's the low of the day has been the bottom of the buy zone. It's never done anything but be in our favor, but it's only gave us one chance to get out. When did higher education become a big business? Right around the 70s. The 80s, it went crazy. Now it's out of control. The bad thing now is they teach the kids socialism. I mean, they literally promote socialism in these schools, especially down south. Well, Western South. These schools promote socialism. I mean, do they? What do you want to wreck the country? You can't have socialism. We know it doesn't work. Look at the other countries who try it. 88 people. We're almost there. A few more stragglers. You got 91? Did I prepare my daughter for that? You know, she's very nicely planted in the middle of the road. Certainly doesn't think socialism's the way, but at the same time has that little bit of the college tinge in her. You know, she's a kid in college. So here's what I have to say about the kids in college that think socialism's the way. You do realize 50 to 60% of those kids that would burn a flag today are going to be Republicans and business people when they get older. You know that, right? They just don't know it yet. Not that I'm saying I'm a Republican. At least half those kids that want to burn flags and turn this into a socialist place will be Republicans going, oh my God, what's wrong with those kids when they're 50? They just haven't seen it yet. Is New York a nice place to live if you're a trader? I think New York's a nice place to live no matter what you do. But yeah, trading from there is fantastic. Trading from here is even better because the hours are better. When I want to pretend I'm in Pacific time every now and then on the weekends, the hours are better for me. During the week, I'm in Eastern time. Doesn't matter. I'm tired at midnight, even though it's 9 here, the whole 9 yards. Las Vegas. Sunny Las Vegas. Well, the funny thing is these socialist plans that these people have, who on earth could afford to pay for those? You know, we have a bigger debt this year than we had last year. Our debt is about 150 billion more this year than it was last year. Forget about adding the socialism to the debts. How could we afford that? We can't afford what we're doing now. We're just kicking the can down the road. Eventually, we're going to have to pay the piper on this. We couldn't possibly afford socialism. That'd be the end of us having a cool country. Right now, we can. The rest of the world goes, I think the U.S. will pay us back in 30 years, buy their stuff. And we're okay. We don't ever need to be at a point where the world goes, the U.S. can't even afford to write bonds anymore. Forget them. We don't need that. That's the beauty of it. We don't even use a printing press anymore. We hit a button. Hey, would you like to print some dollars? Hit that button right there. Print those dollars for me, baby. We don't need printing presses. We don't need paper. Digital dollars. They get right into the account where they belong. Thunderbird, in all honesty, the truth of it is, as long as things don't crack, we can afford all of this. We're a very wealthy society. We just have to be able to live in a society where we can sell forward our bonds. If that never goes away, we can keep doing this forever. You know what? 3D spearfishing. Some say food production in the U.S. this year might be a problem with the frozen earth. Nah, here's the truth about that. When you get snow covering those planting areas, it's actually a blanket of warmth. It protects the seedlings, and it protects the land. They're better off getting the snow blanket. The other thing is, Brazil, South America has really come online with production of soybeans and oats and all kinds of great stuff. So whenever we have a shortfall, you can turn to Brazil. They can fulfill our shortfalls, usually without much trouble. But would love to have a bullish grain market this year, wouldn't you? Bush didn't reduce the debt for Clinton. We were out of debt when Clinton left office. We were in a surplus for $4 trillion. Bush gave it away. He gave us all $475 each. Moron. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen a president do in my life. How on earth is $500 going to change any family in the country? But $4 trillion in the government coffers, that was pretty smart to have laying around. Of course, September 11th happens, and it's the end of that, the Iraq War. So, Seth, you probably don't hate Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs or Walmart, do you? They do the same thing the U.S. government does. They sell their bonds. Why don't you hate them? How come they're a better bet than the U.S.? How come? Isn't that a little bit warped? Everyone else does this. It's how it happens. Russia sells their debt. Iraq sells debt. Iran sells debt. Everybody sells debt. You can buy Turkish debt. Don't worry, ours is going to be fine. So as long as our society remains in such a state that we can sell bonds, we could just keep doing this forever. Well, Seth, I've been running a room for 13 years. I can tell the difference between somebody who's always looking for the end and somebody who's just expecting what comes next, which is what you should do. Whatever comes next was right. Well, food prices to skyrocket, the healthier we get as people, the more of us survive on the planet, right? So, sure, food will absolutely be a thing at some point. Well, that's true. We need guys that think the end is coming to balance the planet and to balance the markets. I'm with you on that. So anyway, I don't think it's our plight to try to figure out whether or not the debt is going to bury us and how the government is doing what they do, because none of us are smart enough to do that, nor are we in those positions to make it matter. So why don't we just figure out where the markets are going to go and do our job? That's what we're good at. Want me to put C-Day on my watch list? Yeah. Absolutely. We'll look at C-Day for you. Tell them absolutely. C-D-A-Y? What is it? I don't know what it is. I'd like to know what it is if I'm going to talk about it. Basically, we'll only deal with stocks that I can understand. Doesn't care if they make money. I don't care what their internals are. I just want to know what they do. So, what's it stand for to begin with? guess I'll find out. He'll answer us. All right, so Sheridan HMC Holdings Corporation. It's worth $45. I have no idea what it does.
It's the ticker symbol of the company he works for.
Oh, got it. Then it doesn't matter to me. I'll just do him a favor. Okay. I thought it was just a stock he was looking at. That's the company you work for? Yeah, I'll do that for you, no doubt, brother. Ceridian. Thank you. Yeah, I just researched you a little bit. Now, at least I understand what it is. All right, we'll look at that. Now, time check, 3:01. Where do you have alerts, kid?
2723, 2739.
Well, we're going to have to make that 31.5 and 07. 7007. Because I'm not going to have my eyes on the screen when I do this chart segment. All right.
Hang on. I gave you S&P.
You gave me both. No, you gave me S&P and I told you to put the NASDAQ at 07. ES is 32, 31.5. Can you see the screen tube? I think that question's been answered. Let's see if I can make this smaller now, because I think it needs to get out of our way. Ah, not that, this. Alright, we'll keep this over here. Oh, stop moving. That's why. I was trying to grab this from that side. Alright. Chat room is back. Let's get that where it belongs. Yeah, well, you know what? As far as the debt increases, let them do their job. Who knows what that's going to mean to us? Hopefully, there'll be no breadlines in 20 years. All right, so here we are. There's a bunch of us together now, so let's take a look at these charts. All right, so where do we stand? Gold is starting to crack a little bit. You know, we sold it looking for that. The indices, if you ask me, they're kind of holding so far because they're not retreating. It's not like they got to 200, turn around, and had a smash down runaway day. I think they're just treading water here, so to speak. Speaking of the S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, Dow, Train, you know, the gamut there. But we've got some charts that we should look at together, both stocks and commodities. Let's start with the commodities. As you know, and the thing about analysis is, of course, you're going to see the same type of chart for weeks on end until it morphs into something else. So here we are, same sort of chart, above the caution zone, smartly. No problem there anymore. Just about got to the 200, but didn't, and here we are today. So it's not falling apart by any means, because something that falls apart looks like this, right? We didn't get that yet. Let's hope we don't get that. So for now, we're just going to say that it's hovering here. It's treading water, right? Biding its time, making it through. Hopefully we get above the 200 and not just for one day like here. We need to go up to like this sign right here. We need to be up there somewhere and just go. So E-mini S&P, this is our latest hurdle. We know that. We're above the caution zone. The 50 moving average is all the way down here. Nothing to worry about there. Right? 200 is there. We're going to see what happens next. That's where we live and breathe right now. I will say this. This is an absolute. It is on everything. You know what? Let me give that a background so you can read what I wrote. The flavor of the month has been the 200 bar moving average. It has literally been all over the charts. Not just the indices charts, it's all over the charts that I look at. Stocks, indices, commodities, it's the flavor of the month. So while it's here, we're going to have to deal with it, right? That's analysis. We'll deal with what's happening while it's here. So let's move along to the NASDAQ. And let's make that a little smaller because it's taking up too much room. I don't want to see it right now. So in our NASDAQ, where you could put a feather in between today's bar and the 200 bar moving average. Let me see if we can blow it up a little more. Maybe you can see just how close. But we didn't touch it, we didn't get above it, we did nothing, and we didn't fall from it yet. Hopefully we don't fall from it. Hopefully we get above. But same situation, no changes here from yesterday. We're just a little bit closer to the 200 bar now than we were yesterday. The Russell, really far away from the 200, but certainly above its caution area. Certainly way above, down here, the black 50 bar moving average. 200 bar moving average is way higher, so who knows what it takes to get there. And we'll see what's going to happen with that. Just one day at a time, kids. That's all we can do now is bide our time because everything else is jammed up against this 200. We'll go to the transportation average next. A lot of room, just like the Russell. A lot of playroom up here in between where we are in the 200, but well above the 50 and certainly above the caution area. So what do? I say we just take the Omni signals one day at a time. If it says sell, we sell. If it says buy, we buy. And just do what we always do. Let Omni tell us what's coming next. The Dow. Now this one, well above the 200 bar moving average. So that is extremely positive. And above the resistance line, extremely positive if you ask me. There is nothing wrong with looking at the industrial chart. If this were the only chart that we had to gauge from, I'd have us buy the dip every single day until something changed. Trump is speaking. We'll turn him up in the background and we'll let him go. He'll probably have me copyrighted for rebroadcasting his speech. So we looked at Dow Traney, we looked at S&P, we looked at NASDAQ. I think now, smart thing to do would be to go look at the FANG stocks and the bigger stocks that make up this market and see what they're telling us. Like, let's go with Apple. Apple, FANG stock, right? Should be the market itself. What we do know is that it jumped up, gapped up a little bit, certainly above the 50 bar moving average, below the fund manager's blue light special, the 200 bar mover. It's certainly low right now. Look at the drop, major drop that we've had. When we had a gap, it was filled and failed. Gap was here. The fill was that day on that green bar. And then the failure came immediately following. You've got two more gaps now. Well, this one's, you can almost call that one filled, but you got a gap here. Out of the FANG stocks, I think Apple is about the only one that doesn't look like it's getting ready to turn towards the downside. Let me show you what I mean. Let's look at Netflix. So we've got the exact same situation, and you'd expect that because it looks a lot like the even the S&P because it's a big part of our market. You've got this thing happening right here where it had what you could have considered the caution area, right? That would have been this if you want to make it official. You could have had your caution area. Needs to get above. It never did, right? Left side, right side. Failed for the day so far. At least we're above the 200. That you got to give it credit for. So Netflix above the 200. Not so bad there. Can't say I love this, and Amazon is a huge piece of the market. I cannot say I love what we're seeing here, although we are trapped between these two averages, the 200 bar and the 50 bar. This is the 200. And this one down here is your 50. You can lower that now, thank you. Now, could this be a nice flag building? Well, absolutely. This could be a tremendous flag building. You could figure that somehow this is some kind of a flag, right? Something. You can change it this way or you can change it that way. You can fit it in any way you want, but that can certainly be considered a bull flag. But you are trapped between the 200 and the 50 at the moment. Once again, like the S&P, this is a sit and wait. You got to let it choose what direction it wants to go in past the danger zones. For now, though, if Amazon is one of the leaders, look what it did when it got to 200 a few days ago. Look what happened there. It's just things like this is starting to make me wonder what's going to happen when the S&P gets there. So you got Amazon. Let's go to Google. Look what happened. It got above the 200 for a day and a half. Boom, it is back down underneath it already. Why? Why would this be happening? Shouldn't it get above and run? So if these guys make up the market and they're starting to fail at the 200, what happens to the S&P and the NASDAQ? This is what I'm trying to present to you. I'm not calling anything here. I'm letting you see that, we could be running into some trouble here. So then we go to something like Facebook, which is, if you ask me, just a nasty-looking, broken-apart chart. What's that? Oh, it's just nasty-looking. This is a chart you don't even want to have to mess with. What do you do with an island like that? You know what I mean? It's just a mess. But it is, for now, above the 200. And it's what I wanted to mention earlier. It's the one of the FANG stocks that is above the 200 right now. For a day and a half, 2 days, right? A half a day, a full day, another half a day so far. So we got 2 days above, if you want to count hours. Don't know where we're going to end up there. But I don't really like the grouping of these that I'm showing you as a group. I mean, well, they'll go where they'll go, but I'm not loving this group. Let's look at Twitter. Look what happened. Got above the 200 for 1 day. So far today, we're back down below. These are big stocks, kids. I mean, if they can't get above the 200, we're going to have a problem up there. So, of course, we will take it 1 day at a time, but it's not promising. And I noticed this morning, that the bigger stocks had already made their way to the 200 and couldn't stay above. But it's only been a day or two, so let's give it more time and see if they can actually get back above and hold. Then you've got something that's, I need to show it just because I think it's finally going to become back in vogue again. I think GE is finally going to become back in vogue. I think when the market starts to move higher and the S&P changes or makes up its mind where it wants to go, I think this is going to go too. So it does have an interesting formation building. It's kind of simple and it's not complete yet, but it's building. So, and you can see it with the naked eye. I mean, I'll just draw it out for you, but you can see what's happening here. You have some sort of a cup built. No handle yet, but you got a cup. Who knows? Maybe finally GE is going to give us a little bit. Now, I think the company makes billions and billions of dollars, and it's worth $10.49. It's a perception problem for GE. Now, I'm not here to tell you to buy GE, because why would I do that? Just letting you know that it's more of a perception problem than it is an actual win-loss situation for GE. I don't even understand why it came down here to begin with when you think about how much money it makes. But I get it, you know what I mean? There's lots of internals brought it down here. But I think now you've got more of people just don't like its name and look at it as it's a stock that goes to the dust. But it's starting to change, if you ask me. And if the higher it moves, the prettier it gets for people, especially the ones who actually averaged themselves in down here somewhere after being long and God knows what levels, because this thing used to be way higher. So you have to figure there's people that bought this thing all the way down, because who would expect GE to be trading in the single digits? So we'll see. I'm not telling you to go out and buy it, but we should keep our eye on it now, I think. So I messed up my little cup, but it's okay. You understand what I had here. So that's your GE. Stock that I tend to follow a lot is Skyworks. I think it says WKS or SKWS. Let me check. It's WKS, I believe it is. That must be it. Look at that. What happened there yesterday, huh? Once again, the flavor of the month. It is all over everything. The stocks, the commodities, the indices, it's all over everything. So until we get past this, it's telling us something, right? It's all over the place. It's in play everywhere these days. It literally is in play everywhere. Certainly that could be a great idea, is to sell that. It didn't get above the 200. It's trading right here right now. It hit the 200 and dumped. So if you think that taking a shot at selling this might be a good idea, I don't know that I have a red Omni, but I totally understand why you would say that, no doubt. Maybe you go down and fill that gap right away, especially because it didn't blow through the 200. Not even a fake day like this day and these days. It didn't even fake anyone out. It just stopped. And then there's this crazy CMG. But I understand that the new CEO gets to watch the first announcement of, I think they're doing this week, right? CMG makes an announcement. Now look at that. That's sick. But it's also a double top. It reacted too. Look, it reacted up there. You only got above for a day. And it started to react. So I don't know what the news is going to bring, but I think it already had its reaction to the double top. I wouldn't chase that around anymore. And weekly. All right. Don't hate that. I don't hate that look on the weekly. That doesn't scare me. And it's a stock, right? So let's do continuation. Haven't passed up anything I was thinking about. Someone asked about Boeing, so we could do that. Woo! President Trump, can you get us any more deals? Wow, look at that stock, huh? Wow, isn't that lovely? BA was the stock, right? Wow. Oh my goodness, look at this stock. did I not? What did I spell up there? I didn't put an E in it. All right, I'll fix that. Let's go back to the daily, and then we'll have to make it a continuation. And it's Boeing. Thank you very much. On the daily. So Justin says, my uncle worked for GE fixing turbines. I sat in on a conference call when we were on a road trip. It was like Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer. I'm not surprised they're having problems. Really, huh? That's what you picked up on listening in? Well then, maybe that is why. So let's see what else is there. So I have a stock that I don't really know very well, but in my trading room we have 1 day at a time. And he asked me to look at a stock for a company that he knows well. I'm not going to tell you how he knows it. That's up to him. But let's go look at it. Ceridium. Oh my goodness. You own those shares? Come on. Hey, do you want to adopt me as your cousin or nephew or son maybe? Nice trade. What price do you own those shares at? Now that is a stock that's doing really well. Can you hear me one day at a time? What price did you buy that at? God bless you. You want to look at Esty? Sure, I'll look at Esty. Give me a moment. You own it at 1682. It's not even on my chart. I have to go all the way back here to get to the 16s. In fact, we probably got to go to a weekly to see the 16s. No, I can't even find them. It's so far down. Look. I won't even bother to go back there. My goodness. Good for you. So what can I say about this stock besides God bless you? What else can I say? It's a fantastic buy. My goodness. Love the stock. You went public last April, huh? You did a very good job so far. I mean, it's had its ups and downs, but my goodness, well done. IPO was 18 to 20. It went off at 22, and you bought yours in at 1682. Well done, sir. Well done. So you'd like to... Hold on a minute, guys. Well, let's start with ST. Oh boy, this looks like it's going to blow up my system. It's not looking good now. What happened? ESTY, correct? ETSY, that's why. That's why it didn't come up. Ew. Yuck. Just dropped below the 50. Had that, you see a day like that, you know that's a problem when you run up that far, turn around and settle at the lows. So I would think you come back down to 45.25, somewhere in there, 4,500, 44 and a half. I could visualize trend lines in my mind coming in right about there, 46, 45 and a half. Somewhere down here. makes sense to me. That stock that my buddy's in, no, why would you want to sell that? Who knows what they got going on, but they got something good going on. It just went public last year. All right, so somebody else asked me for MU, correct?
Yep, and also for SHMP.
Shemp. MU, nice. That's not bad. All right, so simple analysis shows you that you're breaking out, right? That's not bad. I mean, this is very simple. Well, you couldn't count on anything like that without having more info, but you've got that going on. Certainly a race for the 200. Nothing wrong with thinking it'll get there. You can so far hope that we're considering we're above the caution zone. Hope, right? We'll see what happens there. But I like that stock. I mean, I can't run an Omni on it till the end of the day, but I like that stock. I don't see anything wrong with MU for the moment. Anything else out there that you guys wanted to look at? SHMP? I don't know what that is. What's SHMP? Ugh, who cares? That's sick. Not for me. Oh, who cares? I don't care what it is. Next, NBEV, huh? Bit of a mess, that stock. So, listen, there's a reason for that, obviously. Because they work correctly with technical analysis. The stuff like this, it's a $4 or $5 stock. It's up one day, it's down the next. It leaves gaps. It's all over the place. Has a rally like this for no reason, right? All the way to here, comes back down. Nobody needs to try to make sense of that stuff. So stick to stocks that are high, that have huge volume. You'll be much safer. Your analysis will work much, much better. Nor, I should say. Nor cheap stocks. It's just not accountable analysis. Anything can happen. When there's less shares, they're held by people who are vested. They have vested interest in the company usually. And that creates emotional moves like you've never seen before. I don't want to be any party to a stock like this, not unless I was part of the IPO before it came out. Barring that, let's find other stocks that make more sense, that we could actually pull off an analysis stunt that would work on. Cotton? Well, cotton's one of my markets. Let's go look. We'll do Maycon. I guess I have an answer for you. Just as ugly as it was last week. Once again, doing simple 101. You could either look at this, not really this, because that's no good anymore, so you got to use this one. What good is coming from this stock? From cotton right now, from this chart, nothing. I mean, that's just an ugly bear flag waiting to break. Ugly bear flag waiting to break. If it didn't break already. Yuck. And you want to include this stuff in the flag, you can include that too. It's even prettier that way. Ugly. Natural gas. You know what? It's going to be worth $1 one day. Go to April on natural gas. It's going to be worth $1 one day. There's too much of it. The only cost of natural gas these days is to store it somewhere until somebody buys it. So I think natural gas eventually. Now, you can ask anyone who's been following me. I've been saying this since like 450, somewhere up here. But years ago, 2 years ago, I said this was that we'd end up being in the 200s or in the dollar area. So it did get kind of back to the 490 area again. If we look back on a weekly, you can probably see when I made that back here somewhere. I remember saying that's it. From this point, we're going to end up at $1. So we went to 168. I mean, that was pretty good. We've had a bounce since, but I think we're on our way back down for lower levels than the 168 in your natural gas. And ask anyone who knows me if I wasn't making the call up here, because I absolutely was, for natural gas to go to $1. Traders in my trading room, someone like Heart and Soul, you remember me saying this for how long now? Natural gas would be $1 one day. When it went to $1.68, I was like, come on, Oscar, did you actually get that right? But it stopped there and went back up. Could you imagine if it would have stayed there? Natural gas, that is. For some who might not know that. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Below the 50, below the 200, on the weekly. Daily, you know, you just came off that crazy spot up there. You just came off that crazy rally up here. And it doesn't look good down here, that's for sure. It looks like it's building a little bear flag to go lower. Natural gas, Heart and Soul says, can also ruin the largest of accounts. Natural gas has destroyed the biggest trading companies on the planet since I've been in the business. There have been casualties. Nothing as big as what natural gas has done to companies. So trading companies I've watched go down wholly from natural gas. Very careful in this market, kids. Can I put crude oil up on a single chart? Sure, we could do crude. Crude oil. Remember, we've been talking about this caution area forever, and that so far, you've got to look at this and call it what it is. So far, it's failing at that area. Right? Boom. So far, it doesn't mean it will, but if you want to call it what it is right now, it is failing at the caution area. Albeit it's in a nice F flag. I'm not going to deny that, right? We're in some kind of an F flag here with the weird pole going in this direction. But that, if you ask me, we'll change colors so you can see it more clearly, is an F flag that we're in. Let's go solid, blue. See it? So no doubt we've got that going on. And of course, if I make the bars a little longer, you can see that we extend underneath today's bar right now. So it's in this Oscarism known as an F flag. So we'll, If I had a bullish Omni right here, I'd buy at the bottom of a flag, right? I wouldn't worry about buying down there. Let's see what's going to happen next. I'll see what my Omni says. I don't know that yet. So I need to look at my ticker board for a moment. It's been a while.
27:30, $2 trade.
Nothing happened. That whole chart segment, nothing has happened. We didn't miss a tick. That's sick. During that whole chart segment, we didn't miss a tick. Everything looks the same. All right. I really don't have... All right, there is this. We've got the soybeans market, too, we got to watch out for. So now the soybeans has done something interesting. Look. In fact, I might have this somewhere else. Get off the continuous, first of all. We don't need to be on a continuation chart here. That is where we're at right now in the soybeans. So, last attempt, and let me just label the chart. If you note the last attempt up here, one attempt, goodbye. Next time, didn't even get there, goodbye. All right, one attempt, goodbye. Next time, not even there, goodbye. Look at the battle going on here, huh? And being that the 200 bar is the flavor of the month, this is what we have to deal with, right? If it's getting boring to you, you better hang up your trading shoes because this is the life that we've chosen. So yes, sometimes this might seem boring, but it is what it is. I find it exciting. So now that we're getting above this 200 bar moving average, at least it's trying. You have to take a bigger look at what's going on here. What do we see? All right, I see two things right off the bat. Simple analysis. Once again, we're going to do 101 analysis. And what would that be? Simple. Watch. Right off the bat, some kind of channel building. Something's going on right there. You can see it with your eyes. I could put the channel there for you. The naked eye sees that, right? So that's certainly going on. And we're now challenging very much and possibly getting above the 200 MA. But there's more. I see more here. Let's move some of this out of the way. Simple analysis. Again, I'm not going to do anything complicated. But isn't this some sort of an apex-looking thing going on here? Something going on where... Let's change colors. Was something going on before this breakout? I think there was something going on right here. And now we're above. Let's change that green. A little hard to see, I'll bet. Red always jumps out at you. Look at the red lines. You had some sort of thing going on here, which we are now above and really having a good go at the 200 bar moving average. So, like gold, we got to keep our eyes on soybeans. The gold certainly paid off for us. Now let's see what the beans want to do. Speaking of gold, by the way, I think we have a chart sitting here of gold. Yes. So far, the pullback is getting slightly bigger, and I've been selling it since we got into the
7707.
NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Rallying again.
07 NASDAQ.
Time check. Come on! I don't want to take such a shallow profit, but maybe we have to.
And then we had 27:30.75 in S&P.
All right, here's what I will tell you. For you traders that are following the Omni, you're long NASDAQ down to 69.90. We're long S&P down to if you were really smart about it, down to 27, 23 and a half, starting at 27, 26 and a half. You might just want to take what you can take out of this, kids. We had our chance to get out up at 38 and didn't take it earlier in NASDAQ. We had a chance to get out at 27.36 in S&P. We didn't take that. You might just want to hop out here. I'm going to not do anything, but I'd hate to see it end up in the 69.80s before the day is over in the NASDAQ when we've got decent profit built in. So 2707, 7007 NASDAQ was my alert. It went off. I was supposed to react there if I felt like getting out. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Doesn't mean you have to, but if you feel froggy, leap. If not, we'll see what happens by the end of the day. We did have a good gold trade, so if you take these profits here, you're not really hurting yourself. Huh?
Out.
You're out?
No, if you feel froggy, leave out of yes. No?
Did I say leap? Well, I meant to say yeah. Well, okay, I got you. I was thinking like in that market, but yes, I got you. Leap out of yes. Let me just send a little message to my Omniacs before we continue on with the class, okay? Give me a moment, kids. Come on. Yeah. Can't even look at what I wrote, but I hope it's good. I did correct it. It didn't I corrected it before I sent it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. That's right, it won't let me correct. No wonder why. I'm not allowed to correct unless I pull up a different browser. Son of a bitch. That was a yes, right? Such a pain. Gotta go to two different browsers to make a change. Are you kidding me? It understood jut, huh? No. Oh, wait. I can't change it anyway. It doesn't matter. have to go to another machine. Who doesn't like being long today, huh? That's it, there's a lot of us. Gotta add this in to here. Now I can get back to looking at the charts. What are we trading, 6.5 now? 6? I think it'll go higher. I mean, I don't think there's anything to worry about, but we're looking at the same chart segment together. It's not the most promising thing we've ever seen. It doesn't look detrimental either, but it's certainly not promising. All right, I just want to make sure my OmniX got their messages. Let me take care of my business, and then we'll get back to the class. Come on now. Okay, good to go. So now, if you don't mind, oh, we're frozen again. This camera's frozen again. Crap, not again. Let's go. Take us home, baby. Up, up, up.
6 here?
4.5.
Okay.
That's ES, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe NASDAQ 10.
No, 17.
Okay.
Is this room still running? Can you guys hear me? Is anything going on anymore?
Just circle.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they're hearing you. You can see me on this. That's good.
Testing audio. Can you hear at this moment?
Just a small camera.
Let's get rid of the small camera then. All right, I have an idea. We don't really need the small camera, do we? Let's get rid of it. How about that? We'll just get rid of my Ugg mug and continue forward. How about that? Can you still hear? Because I just shut the camera. Okay. Well then, we're good to go. Don't need to see my face. All right. You know what? Cancel that. Just minimize. All right, very good. So everything's still working the way it should. and the current situation with the NASDAQ, because that's the one I think could be the most helpful here today. Stop doing that. There we go. I think this can give us the best run for our money if it starts to go. But boy, we're still not above that. Going to be tricky Omni tomorrow, huh? Tricky, tricky, tricky. Gold on the daily. Look what happened to gold on the daily today, huh? Ooh, good short on our part there. Yeah, it certainly looks like it could move down a bit more before it gains its legs again. We'll see. It was cold here in Vegas. In fact, it's probably the toughest winter I can remember. I mean, I don't think we had days under 32 degrees, but for Vegas, it was it was a cold winter. I mean, we must have had 3-4 weeks of winter this year. What's wrong with this desert? Could be 4.5 weeks by the time it finally goes into spring here again. So literally our summers, our winters here are 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then right back into spring you go. It's so cool. What a great place to live. So here's an interesting thing. I showed it to you earlier in my gold, but my gold has a 1309.60 support number 2 level next to it. Yeah, 0990 is the low. How about that, huh? I did show you the gold trades earlier, so if you look back, you can see it was on the paper. I never, ever make this stuff up, ever. It's predetermined the night before we trade. All right, is there anything else I could show you, cats? Because that was a pretty interesting chart segment, I thought. You missed oil? It's simple enough. Oil is here. Oil so far is in what I call an Oscarism known as the F flag. I don't know where that line just came from. It's an Oscarism known as the F flag. Let me just get rid of those 2 dashes. There should be quotes, but every time I leave the page, they turn into dashes or underscores. So we're in an F flag, but it certainly had trouble at the top of the caution area. Right? It wasn't able to take out the top of the caution area, illustrated by the 3 arrows, but you take the caution area away, you are in a nice F flag. So I think you buy the dips, sell the rallies inside the F flag until it decides what it wants to do next. And then we have something I wanted to give out from earlier. Just give me a moment to find what I was looking for. Would it be trouble for you to grab that link for me, or should I just go get it out of the mail? Yeah.
Can you give me a second?
If it's trouble, I'll just get it out of the mail.
It's not trouble, I just have to log in and get it.
That's trouble. Let me just get it out of the mail. All right. I could just grab it right here. This latest email is a good one, right?
Yes.
All right. That's fine. Oh. All right. I better do that instead. That's better.
Coppers for today to hide.
Nice. How's that dollar looking? That's what we didn't look at today yet. Ooh, that's pretty looking. Look at that, huh? Getting ready for tap, tap, tap number 3. Look at that blue light special, how well that worked, huh? Interesting place. Boy, you haven't You haven't agreed a single market's going to go up all day, Seth. What is wrong with you? You've commented on every single thing I've shown. Up, it's going to go down. Up, look, top's in. Up, got to sell it. Up, how about we sell that? Are you crazy? Come on, that's not trading. That's pathologically incorrect. You can't just think everything's going to go down. It doesn't work that way. That's funny, Seth. You haven't given a single thing I've done credit on the upside, not one. Everything's going down. Boy, I would want to have to be your psychologist. You must be a nut. You are. But I will say, Seth, and this is something that you've heard me say to you for 4 years now. You have been bearish as long as I've known you. This has been going up as long as I've known you. At some point, you're going to have to give up that fight. It really isn't smart. You have talked about the S&P going down for as long as I've known you. We've had numerous conversations about it. Dozens of writing back and forth on YouTubes. Come on now. Do you really just... Is that it? That's it? One direction only? You're not an what is he called? Oh, you're not an ambi-turner, are you? Must have spent too much time watching that Zoolander movie. You caught his disease. He's not an ambi-turner either. Ah, that's interesting. That's funny. Although I liked him tonight. Get that. You know, I have a story about Tim Knight. It was an accident, but just happened to be what it was. I got invited to a gathering of traders at the top of the Mandalay Bay. Beautiful, beautiful area they have up there. Looks like it was set up from the Bombay store, Indian type, beautiful furniture. Just a beautiful place up there. So I get invited. There's 30, 40 people standing around. I know this is one of Tim Knight's clubs that he has, you know, the Slope of Hope and whatever. So these are guys who know Tim Knight. They know me as well. So they bait me. I don't realize this is what's going on. This is right around the time I've called the recovery from the 2008 crash. It's about 2010. The recovery was correct. I was all over that, and I'm calling for much higher markets. Oh, that's right. That's where you met me. So I did get set up, and I felt really bad. So here's what happens. Tim Knight happens to be a very nice guy who's made a lot of money in this business and doesn't need me to give him any crap. Although, if you are going to be bearish in my face in a bullish market, you will hear from me. So anyway, the reason why this crowd is starting to find me is because they're with him, and he's hopelessly bearish from 2008 forward. Just hopelessly bearish. 2009 forward. He can't recognize that the market will turn and go back up. So I think his crowd started looking for something else, and they found me, so they invite me up to this point. What I don't recognize is this. Somebody says to me, you know, Tim Knight, Oscar, Tim Knight thinks the market's still going to go down. What's your opinion? Because they know I'm going to lose my mind when they say that to me. And I spend 10 minutes going off on this guy, Tim Knight. Oh, what is he out of his mind? He's touched in the brain. What could be wrong with this guy? How dare he tell you that? And I'm going off on him. And 2 minutes into me going off, he stands up. He was in the back of the room. The guy stands up, comes over to me and says, Oscar, maybe this isn't the time or place for this conversation, and walks out of his own party. I felt so bad for the guy. I had no clue he was there. I would have never spoken that way. Well, I would have, knowing he was there, but it would have been to him. Instead, I was speaking to his crowd at him with him being there, which was kind of ugly. I liked the guy. I would have never done that to him. So you guys set me up that day. You know that, right? You had him hidden behind everybody else when you asked me what I thought about Tim Knight being bearish. So anyway, that was probably the last time him and I ever shook hands. I don't think he liked me after that. Truth of the matter is, don't be so effing stupid and keep calling the downside when it doesn't go down anymore. So that's kind of what I beat him up over. So, not that you guys did anything wrong. I get it, but, you know, come on now. Come on now. You can't just be bearish forever. Was 115. Yeah. Anybody click that link? Wonderful. You guys are brain dead if you don't take that link. If you think you can come up with better trades than I can, then don't take the link. Truth be told, my kids are going to be fine tomorrow. I don't know if yours are. Different is good. Being one-sided, one-minded, wearing one pair of blinders, that's not different. That's the same. Different is somebody who can shift left and then shift right and then shift left again. Someone who says the market's going up, clearly it's going up, and then he goes, well, the market's starting to go down, clearly it's going down. If you ask me, that is somebody who's different. No, he's not trolling. I've known Seth for a long time. Seth is all right. He does his thing. I'll break him. You'll see. Now that he's in my room, I'll have him thinking long-minded in 2 months of him hanging out with me. He won't be able to take it anymore. Seth, I'll fix you, I promise. I'm not saying you have to be bullish, but you do have to have both sides. You got to be able to swing either way. Let me give you a for instance on that. It was completely bullish gold for 2 weeks. And it went up pretty well. But then, as soon as it stalled, I said, well, gold doesn't really belong higher anyway. Omni says down. And I immediately started selling gold. This week, I was long gold once and short twice. Today's only Wednesday, right? I was long once, short twice. And my goal was to stay in the gold till it makes a decision. And when it does, jump on it. So that's what we did in the gold today. I've been doing the same thing in the S&P every single day. It's got to make its decision eventually, right? It's going to get above the 200 or not. So I've been trying to just bide the time in the S&P every day and wait for it to finally go. No, we're not going to kick Seth off the island. He's all right. Did you say, oh, now you're just kidding with me, Seth. Now you're just kidding with me. It's okay to be bearish, just not about everything that you see. Seth is all of us. That's good. But we don't kick people out unless they get under my skin. Seth is cool. He doesn't get under my skin. We banter back and forth. So, well, you know what? I bet that silver doesn't look very pretty right now. I'll bet you there's a spot that we didn't even think about getting involved in. The pit I grew up in as a child. Oh, yeah. Boy, does that look ugly, huh? It's ugly. It's not even ugly. It's ugly. No, I didn't. I can't say ugly here. How would I make that sound? I guess I can't. Phonetically, it's ugly. It's not ugly. It's a nasty looking chart. And it's because it's silver. Silver never goes anywhere but back down. When silver sticks its ugly head up, take out your lawnmower and chop it back off. Look, and it already had its two its two little temper tantrums above the 200 over here. It already had its two little temper tantrums here too. So I don't know where else it's going. Silver usually doesn't go anywhere but down. It's an ugly market. There's that copper market, kid. Look at that. And of course, the flavor of the month, as I told you, it's on the commodities, it's on everything, is the 200. But you are above that 200 right now. Not out of any danger zone, but you're above the 200. It's good. Very good. Well, it's been basing forever. If it goes, it's going to be big. It's got the potential to go to $4. You know that, right? Long-term target on silver, 15, where it always hovers. Silver's worth, I don't know. Silver between 12 and 17 is all you're ever going to see. That's all I've seen my entire life, except for once it went up to 50. Of course, Seth. Of course it's going down. If a rocket heads to the moon, it heads down to the moon, according to Seth. I agree. I agree with you, Justin. They gold and silver topped around the same week as the dollar bottom, but there's a difference. I think silver gets more beat up by the dollar than gold. Gold can do whatever it pleases unless the dollar's on a tear. So I think gold can be immune to dollars a lot of times. It's not always on a teeter-totter. I agree with you, Seth. It's a waste of time. Well, I grew up in the silver pit, so I was 18 years old, made it into the pit by 21, thought this is going to be the biggest market in the world, and it has done nothing since I'm 21. I'm 54 now. I've given up. It's going to be my whole life. It'll have never done nothing.
It's 412, Oscar, just so you know.
Is it 412? Jesus. If we had extreme dollar weakness, Justin, sure. Then, of course, I'd be on silver's side. All right. This day is over, isn't it? It's 412. Woo! So we've got 2 minutes till the close, but it doesn't really matter anymore because it appears that everybody did what they were supposed to do and got out of their trades. We looked at Amazon. So, we'll look real quick before I finish my day. Amazon is sitting here, isn't it? Yes. Amazon stuck between 200 ball moving average and 50 ball moving average. Just kind of stuck between them both. But the possibility of a bull flag does exist. For now, this is in a spot where I would just take my Omni signal, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, whatever the Omni signal tells me, till we vacate that area. That's about all I would do with Amazon if I was going to trade it. Certainly does look like a massive bull flag, doesn't it? That would be nice to see, to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind that even slightly. Of course, it looks like a trap to you, Seth. We've got to get you to start thinking half full from time to time. Half full, Seth. Come on now. I'm going to work with you. The glass is half full, Seth. Half full. Alrighty. If you ask me, that one's in trouble, Mr. Alphabet here. The alphabet looks like it's having trouble. Let's hope it doesn't stall here and drop where I expect it to drop. But if you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't buy it tomorrow. I'd sell it. We'll see what happens after that. All right, kids, I think I'm going to conclude my day session because we've got the entire night session to do. So let's, I'm going to close this down for now. And if you guys want to hang out tonight, are you any night owls here? Because I could easily run this room at night. Me, I get baked at night, he says. Well, good for you. Just make sure you get up in the morning. All right. Oh, I might start running the night. So I do this 24 hours a day, right? I've got a chat room that's open 24 hours a day. Basically, you don't see me in there on Saturdays. I might start doing the YouTube as well at night. I sure do. I'm always here. All right, kids, that concludes the day session. I will see you for the evening session. You guys can hang out and see what I do in the evening. We'll see where that goes. I will speak to everyone later. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube videos and my channel. Please like and share these videos, my work. Get it out there to others so we can help more traders that certainly need the help out there. Thank you for that.